Welcome to Space Engineers, Starboat 96. I am your narrator and host, Mr. Raymond Blair. In the last episode, we left off with two possible threats incoming from Ceres. Visual confirmation indicates and verifies the threat as SPRT armed salvage corvettes. All weapons of the starboat are activated, and evasion maneuvers are initiated. Fortunately, SPRT scavenger corvettes tend to be trash cans strapped to rockets, so the engagement with the starboat is really a one-sided affair. New autocannon bank upgrades towards the bow, port, and starboard are getting work done. One of the many improvements made since the lunar engagements of SPRT forces. I notice that there is some sort of object floating above the flight deck. It seems to be something that has broken off from the starboat. And indeed it is. The pirates have managed to cleanly cut my periscope from its piston. I kind of need that. But now it travels the void space along its own path, separate from the starboat. Well, nevertheless, after the initial battery engagement of capital vessels, I jump into the Mark IV in order to sweep the field. First on the quay is an SPRT class corvette. Starboat's artillery really went to town on this one, as it looks like it has taken a beating. Upon entering the wreck, I discover that the crew has survived. They are amazingly calm and cool-headed, eating dinner actually as they waited for my arrival. They have had enough and are more than willing to surrender under arrest when the old Jenny comes by to clean up this mess. So I just leave them to it, inform the Jenny, and move to the next point of interest. This next vessel is classified as an SPRT Scourge corvette. It is in worse shape than the previous vessel, and I'm afraid that it is left unchecked, reavers may infect its cryogenics facilities. There is the zombie right there. Time to clean up this hulk before this thing gets out of hand. What's this? Looks like a pirate, and he's hiding in the wing. I guess he won't be taken alive. There is no way I'm going to shoot through that blast door, so I'll need to EVA in order to finish this sweep. Besides, it is only right for me to pick up that dead pirate's CF chip. Certainly, he will be in for a shock when they clone his new body and transfer his carbon filter just to put him back into cryostasis to serve his sentence for his crimes. Well, c'est la vie. Aside from that malicious thought, however, I finish the sweep and clear the hull for the Jenny to salvage. Now it is time to tackle the main event. I am to proceed, I will need to destroy any remaining defenses and support still active on this outpost. Looks like I shook up the hornet's nest. There's a lot of pirates, and I gotta say, I'm not really prepared for this. Fortunately, I'm in an armored vehicle, and none of the zero-G pirate infantrymen have any anti-vehicular weapons, only automatic small arms. Still, I burn every round of ammunition I have, and the pirates make pockmarks all along the Mark IV. I am sure I killed a few of them, in which case their consciousness filter chips are lost into the void. And that's a harsh way to go. Hopefully their surviving mates sign some of them and go to the eradication, or the eradicator, for submission to arrest. This station is clear, and my sweep is complete. Time to go home and get some rest and relaxation. I see the old Jenny is hard at work cleaning up the mess I made. These prospectors, they're just making so much money since the Starboat arrived. I'm sure that they're going to be like a chihuahua, and they will be following me for as long as they possibly can. Oh, no. I don't need help parking the Mark IV. At the start of shift briefing, I am informed that the CIC has located a possible pirate base on the surface of Ceres. So I order the helmsperson to set course to this location. Since I do not have my periscope anymore, I will need to use my binoculars instead. The binoculars work better anyways. They have a higher zoom. And they are my personal property, whereas the periscope was just government issued. The periscope did have a greater peripheral advantage though, and it also had sensory instruments. But since it is lost, I gotta do it the old-fashioned way anyways, and use the observation deck. Ensign, fire main artillery battery. Let's wake these pirates up out of bed, shall we? After some initial artillery bombardment from orbit, I get into the Mark IV in order to go down onto the surface. From there, I will establish a landing zone for a night-side ground assault. So it is at the crack of dawn, and here comes the assault team. We rapidly cross no man's land under cover of darkness, navigating through the craterous terrain to our advantage. Soon, we engage a defense tower and a couple of pirate combatants. After a short and heavy engagement, Field Sergeant Duke is mortally wounded. I go and collect his consciousness filter. Also, I order to disengage and regroup at the landing zone. After a brief rest, we cross no man's land again in order to effect a second assault. However, after further forward observation of pirate defenses and patrol, I call off the second infantry assault and retire back to the LZ. Strapping into the Mark IV, I attempted to test and soften the pirate defenses in a gunship attack. Hovering under the horizon, the gunship attack works pretty good. However, a secondary and heavier rocket tower targets the Mark IV. Trying to use a deep crater as cover has inadequate effect, and sadly the Mark IV is destroyed. Fortunately, I was ejected safely with only minor injuries. Because I am shaken up from the forceful ejection, I delay too long in evacuating the area. And as a result, I am discovered by a pirate team sent to investigate and salvage. The two of them don't have firearms, but I do. Though they almost took me out anyways, despite their disadvantage. The Model 2 is more nimble than the Mark IV, so it easily evades the rocket defense tower's battery fire. The objective this time is to establish a forward LZ by clearing an area for it. For the most part, this mission is successful, but a few stubborn defense turns remain as an obstacle. So I call in an artillery strike, danger close, from the starboat. This does the trick, and the Space Marines relocate to the forward zone. Private Snake gets himself shot in the process, so I grab an entrenching tool and start to dig. That old Alfred android combat unit seems to have its protocols crossed or something, maybe outdated, as it just flies out in the open. It's frustrating. Well, if you want a job done right, you need to do it yourself, as the old adage states, so I dig right up to the building, and when I get there, it is all clear. I enter the building before properly informing the gunnery officer. And as a result, a salvo of shells land directly at my location. I am sure I will hear the officer's concerns. Right now, I just need to shake off the disorientation and stay focused on clearing this next building. Executive Officer Christina Blair just received a communication from the pirate leader that they surrender the base to us. Now is the time that this episode comes to a close. I do hope that you enjoy our time together as this saga develops. I certainly enjoy, and look forward to have more in the future. Until then, take care.